What's the number one sport in America today? What's the fastest growing sport in America today? Pickleball. If you don't support pickleball, you're behind the times.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Let us go ahead and talk to Tryston Gilbert about what is going on in Madison City. Tryston regularly, he always watches the Madison City Council meetings so that you don't have to. It's been 2 months since we last spoke to you, Tryston. Welcome back to the show, and what's been going on in Madison City?
Good morning, Jacob. Can you hear me?
I can.
Right on. Okay, so Madison has been a bit quieter since the entire special election calmed down back in May. Of course, they voted not to adopt a city manager form of government. But there are a couple trends going on, and I'll tell you about them. So the first thing that I've noticed every meeting, the council has a lot of contracts, a lot of money going into recreation. Of course, there's the new Trash Panda Stadium, the Toyota field off of the highway there. This past month, one of the people that manages those parks was talking about buying 2 ThorGuard lightning detection systems for the parks. It sounds really cool, but they're these advanced warning storm systems I think would be better than having a 16-year-old umpire trying to shuffle people off the field when there's a storm coming in. And there was one particularly passionate commenter, I think I sent you a clip of, who wanted to see more courts of a specific kind in the area. Do you have that clip?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play that, Adam.
What's the number one sport in America today? What's the fastest growing sport in America today? Pickleball. If you don't support pickleball, you're behind the times. My wife and I play in tournaments in Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. We've been to all kinds of rec facilities. Why don't we have them in Madison? I know we're building one south of 565, but that was promised, announced last year, but have we broken ground? Is it going to be this year? What's the delay? Last year, it's estimated 23 million people played tennis. You know how many people play pickleball? 36 million. That's 13 million more people. Very few people play tennis anymore. Go out to Dublin Park, which I am every night, by the way. Pardon me, I'm late for playing tonight.
Yeah. I got to say, I love the passion for pickleball.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is the real deal.
If only he could advocate for like Medicaid expansion that hard as he does for pickleball, man. Like,
you almost have to wonder if like the Pickleball Association is feeding this guy lines and money.
How dare you suggest he is on the take from the big pickleball?
Well, I didn't see any sponsored jersey, but the man did show up in athletic wear to the city council meeting. He said he was going to a match right after that. So,
where is he going to a match? I thought there weren't any pickleball.
Clearly.
Well, he said he was having to travel out to Athens, Decatur, some other place I forget. But you know, I used to play tennis, so I was listening to him a little closely. But maybe I should try pickleball. It sounds like the bee's knees.
Yeah. Well, you're behind the times, clearly, since you're not.
Yeah.
So you are. You are.
Who isn't in some way or another?
Right. There you go.
All right. The following week, second meeting in July, the thing that caught my eye, so talking about the Toyota Stadium again, the city's currently building more on-ramps over there for town Madison. If you've driven past there, you know it's kind of awkward to exit if you're going west. You had to get off on Zert and go in that way. So they're trying to build more high-speed ramps in. But during the construction of one of these ramps, they didn't strike gold. They struck old acetylene tanks. There's some pictures I sent, and I can describe them for people who are just listening if you have those.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
But while digging and groundbreaking for some of these ramps, they found, they said about 2,500 old acetylene tanks. And these were rusted out steel tanks that were lined with asbestos. And they're just laying there in a pit. It looks like it was 20 feet deep or so. They excavated these with a backhoe, and ALDOT is paying to get them sent away and disposed of properly. But a contact of mine, a friend of mine, asked his dad about it because I was telling him about it, and his dad remembered a welding shop being there something like 30 years ago. So, and that shop is long since gone. I haven't been able to find anything about it. If I'd be interested to hear if anybody does know more, but it sounds like somebody probably knew a friend with a backhoe, didn't want to pay for the proper like EPA way to get rid of these asbestos laden tanks, and so just dug a doggone big hole and buried them in there and hope nobody would ever find it. And
Wow.
For 30 years, it seems like they were right. Who knows if they're even still around?
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah,
That's
and
pretty wild.
we've got pictures of those. Adam, can you show those on the screen for the people that are and for the people that are listening? It's just as Tryston described.
Yeah, if I can actually find those pictures, I'm sorry.
They're right under the cliffs.
Oh yeah, I see it. Actually, I do see it.
What's the number one sport in
sorry,
America
that's our
today?
pickleball
What's
guy.
the
We don't want to
fastest
have
growing
him
sport?
again. Yeah, here we go. Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Pile, yeah. And that first picture, you could see where one was propped open, all of that, all the white material. And they need that with acetylene to keep the gas from decomposing, because I believe it has an organic component. Yeah, it's just wild. To me, it's sort of a very visceral piece of town history. It's almost like digging up bones, right? Like
Right.
what happened? How do we construct a story about this?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I hope it gets like properly disposed this time, like for real. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think they're being sent to like an environmental hazard disposal facility in another state. I forget exactly where. Sorry. Last thing I want to talk about is a little less fun than the other two. One of the meetings this month in August, there was an example of what I'm calling the Floridification of education. There was a apparently concerned parent who brought in a book to the council and read a passage from it, and he was very emotional. He was claiming that this book was not an appropriate one to have for children to have access to. And the scene was fairly disturbing. It was an instance of child abuse in the book coming from a guardian. However, I did a little digging and found the book he was talking about is The Watsons Go to Birmingham /1963. It's a historical fiction novel that takes place during the civil rights movement. And I wasn't really surprised to find that. I've on all the stories that I've been seeing, the people who are most verbally and outwardly concerned about inappropriate material seem pretty prone to target books that are historical or from a perspective their children might not belong to. This was a white father who didn't really give any of this context in his book, or in his speech. But the book is about a black family who is moving from one city to another during this troublesome time. And the scene in question is the troubled child has been playing with matches. The grandmother is trying to teach him a lesson to get him to quit, and she makes some decisions which she later comes to regret. But of course, none of that context made it into his speech. He just found the most visceral parts of it to try and get a reaction.
Right.
Yeah, and so presumably the book is not condoning this behavior. And
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I remember, and he said his child was in 4th grade, I think. And I remember when I was in middle school around 6th grade, we were all encouraged to read a book called Daniel's Story, which was a very disturbing sort of a historical fiction account of a Holocaust victim that really detailed like the ghettos and the camps and just the loss of loved ones that they experienced during that. And yes, it was one of the most graphic and disturbing things I had read at that age, but I think I learned like valuable lessons from it, and we were able to process it as a group and talk about it. So I don't think that I think that all this talk of material being inappropriate is a screen for another motive, and I don't really trust it when I hear it. That's my take anyway.
Well, especially regarding stuff like that, where graphic depictions of situations that are not good, but not being condoned. I wonder how much of the Bible people like that have read, because
I thought about that too. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, was there anything else that you had for us this week?
Not in my notes. If you have any questions about what's going on, I'll see what I can dredge up real quick. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later.
I don't think so. Adam, do you?
No, I really appreciate it, Tryston, and keep us posted on the possible book banners. Hopefully they don't gain any traction here or anywhere.
Sure, I'll try and look up some Board of Education meetings they might have also been targeting. That'll be hard to watch, but I'll try and bring it to you. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for your service, Tryston.
Thanks, Tryston.
Yeah, all right. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.
All right, you too. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.